You're watching Hot Walk Academy. My name is Ming Jin Tong. I want to help you master your kitchen. Let's cook. Today, we are going to be talking about Choy. You can find this and it's called Choy, Y-U space C-H-O-Y. Almost any Asian grocery store will carry this product. However, you can use this method for any leafy green you like. You can do it with kale, you can do it with spinach, you could do it even with collard greens. Really up to you. So, quick review of our tools and our ingredients. We're using our Chinese vegetable cleaver. And again, nice and sharp to make a clean cut, but also tall to act like a bench scraper on our end grain board. And anytime you are using a cutting board, it is super dangerous if your board is moving around. So what you want to do is put a wet rag underneath there and spread that out. And when you put your board down, it will be nice and solid. So when you're cutting, you're not going to cut yourself, okay? This is a great silicone cup, and it's just fantastic. I mean, you can see it's really squishy. We will be using this for our pea tips. I'll show you how in just a minute. We're also going to be using our vegetable oil. Now, vegetable oil normally is a combination of canola oil and soybean oil, and vegetable oil provides a nice high temp heat. Oil will serve three purposes. Number one, for movement. It creates lubrication in your wok. Number two, it gets to that high heat, which helps to sear and cook your vegetables very quickly. Unlike water, which only gets to about 200 and then it likes to evaporate. And number three, the smokiness that the oil provides will get into your food and it just provides a great flavor. That's what people often call wok hei, or in Mandarin, guo qi. Breath of the wok is produced by the high heat and that oil vapor. Also, we're gonna be using just regular old cornstarch, and we're gonna be creating a slurry, which is cornstarch and water, and that's why we have this container. And that will go in our pea tips, and I'll show you how we do that at the very end. And then I've got here sea salt for our sodium as we cook, and then of course the ever favorite of mine, which is garlic, and garlic will be used to flavor our oil. So this is how you do your prep for our Choy. Now, Choy normally can be very dirty. Of course, when you buy Choy from the grocery store, if you look at the back of the store, you will find workers there that are taking these things and they're actually trimming the end of the stem to remove the dirty end already. That means when you bring this home, you don't really need to be cutting off anymore. They have pre-trimmed the Choy for you at the store. Don't be tempted to cut off the stalk and throw that away. That's all nutritious, delicious, and provides a great crunchy texture when compared to the leaf in your cooking, okay? But you do want to wash your vegetables. I'm not gonna show you how right now. It's not that interesting. Soak them. The water will allow the dirt to loosen and be removed. After you soak for a while, and I like to use a deeper bin or a deeper tub to do that. After you soak, what you can do is you can agitate it in the water to let all that dirt come out. So these are perfectly clean, and I'll show you how to process it. Again, I like to use two bowls, one to hold my product so it's not sitting on the counter, and another to be the landing bowl for our Choy. So I'll set that over here, and what we're gonna do, this is actually a very quick process. All you do is line up those stems, and you know what? Actually, I'm gonna do this. What I want to do, I'm gonna set this here, and I actually want to demonstrate two different places to put it. So, because everything is gonna cook at the same time, some things cook quicker than others. So what we're gonna do is, for the stem, I really only want about this much, again, one mouthful. And because those are pretty thick, I'm actually gonna separate the stem into one landing bowl and the leafy part, which I'm gonna cut a little bit longer, into a different bowl. So this will be my leaf bowl here, and then this will be for my stems. And again, the reason why is because when I cook them, I'm gonna cook my stems first to give them a chance to cook through before I throw in the leafy part. So here we go. Those are my stems into my stem bowl, and these are my leaves into my leaf bowl. You see how the knife works so well as a bench scraper to move the product around the board. Now, these stems, they are, quite heavy, but let me point out something here. Like, look at this. This is a beautiful piece, okay? What's going on here is you have all these connections where the plant has grown, and you know what? This piece right here, that's gonna be delicious. It's gonna be so tender, and there's so much flavor locked into where those little branches are being connected. And you know what? These things are also, this is just so good. You can eat that raw. It's not spicy at all. It's got a rich, almost meaty flavor to it. And not spicy, but it's really, really delicious. Okay, let's finish this up. And just one last piece of prep is our garlic. So here we have the yotai stem, and here we have the yotai leaf. And these will go into the same preparation together, but I do want them separate for different cooking speeds. For our garlic, what we're gonna do is from your head of garlic, let's go ahead and remove some cloves. All right. And again, for garlic, what you want to do is take the broad side of your knife and just give it a nice firm pat. Another way to do it, if you want a little bit more control, is to put it down there and just give it a little smack with your wrist or with your fist. Okay, one more time. This just peels right off, and the inside of the garlic is now exposed for the hot oil. And oh, look, sometimes garlic gets like this old and kind of starting to rot garlic. We're not gonna use that. Actually, if you encounter garlic like this, just get rid of it. It's not gonna be good. You wanna use fresh product. All right. Once all your garlic is peeled and crushed, ready to go, you are ready to start cooking. Oh, look at that, man. Another bad piece of garlic. I gotta get a better. I got to increase my budget to buy nicer garlic, I guess, for Hot Wok Academy. All right, so garlic is ready to go. I'll set this off to the side. Just one last step of prep is our slurry. Now, when you mix cornstarch with water, this is about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, and I am going to put in probably about half of it, so I have about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add water, probably about 1/3 cup of water, maybe about half a cup of water, and I'm gonna create a slurry. Now, this particular slurry, what we're gonna do is add it to the end of the stir fry. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna coat the vegetable with the flavor of the garlic oil and the flavor of the vegetable. It's a very important step that I'll show you how to do. You don't want it too thick. You do want it to be nice and runny. So judging by the color here, this color looks a little bit like skim milk, which means I don't have enough water in there. I'm gonna add even more water, and you'll see if I can make the right coloration. Okay, so that is about right. I've got now about 1 cup of water to about 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. This will be added to the end of our stir fry. Let's go over to the stove and I'll show you how to cook it. Okay, after you've got your vegetables cut, you're gonna come over to your wok, and this is what I wanna recommend. For your wok, this is a 14-inch carbon steel round bottom wok, and I've got a gas stove. If you've got an electric stove, totally fine. Let me encourage you to get a flat bottom wok so that it sits still. I am gonna be tossing my wok, but with an electric wok, it's okay to leave it down, and you can move your product around with your wok spatula. So first we're gonna do a relatively low flame to heat up our wok, and what we wanna do is we wanna create a seasoned oil. So I'm gonna put about that much oil in. Judging by my vegetables, That's about maybe I'll do maybe 3 tablespoons of oil. And because it is gonna create a lot of oil vapor, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my fan so it might be a little bit loud. As that oil heats up, I do wanna introduce that crushed garlic. I'll just put a couple pieces in there, and I might just kind of tear it apart a little bit more to expose more of the inside of that garlic, okay? And we're gonna put that into our oil, and this step in stir fry is called 爆香, allowing the flavor of the garlic to come out to flavor that oil. And that flavored oil is a key element of achieving the right flavor in your stir fry. And you can see all the parts where the garlic is opened up. That's gonna be really, really great for the flavoring that oil. You don't want your garlic to burn. Burned garlic really gives a foul and bitter taste. So make sure you avoid that. You can see here the garlic, if I'll flip that over, is nice and brown on that side, just beautiful. I'll let that go just for a little bit. Then I am gonna take the garlic out and I'm gonna crank that heat up. Now, based on the amount of vegetables that I have here, I know it's too much. I have too much 油菜 for the size wok that I have. So I am actually just gonna do half of it to show you how we do it, okay? So I'll pull that garlic out. I'll put that here with my stems. I'm gonna turn my heat, my flame, all the way to its highest setting, and I'm gonna let that go. What I want to do is I want to develop as much heat as possible in my wok before I put my product in. So all of these stems, and I'm only gonna do half the stems and half the leaves, is at room temperature, so about 70 degrees in here. And when I put something that cold into a wok that's hot, it's gonna immediately remove all the heat. When you remove the heat, you're gonna get a swampy vegetable. You don't want that. You want a very high heat in your wok and in your oil so that you can essentially flash fry, very quickly cook the vegetables that you have, okay? So I'll pull out my thermometer and just take a look to see what the temperature is. Here I have an infrared thermometer. Great tool. I would suggest that you buy one of these. It's very helpful to understand what's happening in your cooking tools. Let me swirl that oil around and I'll take a look here. That is at 600 and, okay, about 700 degrees. That is the right temperature now to begin our stir fry. So swirl my oil around, and I'm gonna start by frying the thick, hard parts of the vegetable first. I'm gonna grab about half of this and toss that right in. Oh. Initially, it's a lot of heat, but you notice it's calmed down a lot right away. And it's because that product is so cold compared to the heat. That heat is gonna struggle to keep up. So, what I wanna do, I wanna cook these stems most of the way because the leafy part of the vegetable cooks very fast. I'm gonna spend most of my time cooking these stems. I'll do a little bit of sea salt. Okay, when I see the color has changed just a little bit, also the texture I can feel in my hand is a little bit different, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce now my leafy parts of my vegetable. Doing half helps me a lot. This is too much vegetable to cook in a wok of this size with this amount of heat. A little bit more salt for the leaves. Now, you want your leaves to wilt, but not go any further than that. We're not gonna overcook this. When the leaves, you can see how quickly they wilt like that. When they get to about that much, you are basically done. It's been about 30 seconds since the leaves have been in there. And that's really all you want. Okay, that is done, and we can plate it right here on our other wok. Okay, what is the texture we're going for? We want the stems to be nice and crisp. We want the leaves to still have a little bit of their texture. We don't want it to be completely wilted. You know, nobody wants to eat a swampy, mushy vegetable. And vegetables that are cooked this way are still very, very crisp. At Hot Wok Academy, we really want to help you understand Asian tools, techniques, ingredients, and how they work. And by cooking along with us and practicing over and over again, you will quickly discover you can cook like this, you can enjoy your vegetables, and you can begin to develop instincts for cooking. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.